Good day, everyone. So, right now, I'll present findings from a study evaluating the cost effectiveness of foldable modular housing technology, which is an emerging and very promising frontier in affordable housing solutions. This housing crisis is not getting any better, with 69% of Americans being deeply concerned about rising costs. Millions are classified as cost burdened. Traditional construction methods are simply too slow and expensive to keep up. So in that regards, we need solutions that are not only faster, but fundamentally cheaper, scalable, and more sustainable as well. This research sets out a straightforward goal to test whether foldable modular homes can substantially lower construction costs and timelines. Combined an extensive uh, literature review with direct interviews with employees at a company that practices foldable designs as their means of producing modular homes, and that company is Boxable, with one hypothesis, which is modular folding homes would deliver significant economic advantages while addressing regulatory and logistical challenges. First off, we want to discuss why foldable modular designs are a way to go about this issue. So in general, foldable modular designs offer a powerful advantage. They compress during transit and expand quickly on-site, enabling rapid setup and lowering logistic costs. On the other side, compared to traditional builds, construction time is cut up to half, waste drops dramatically, and overall costs can decrease by up to 40%, all while maintaining durability and quality. So it addresses the situation as a producer or manufacturer that I can deliver these products, these homes, these readily available homes in a manner that, one, it speeds up the production, but we also have that for normal modular buildings or constructed buildings. On the more emphasized part, it reduces material costs by a lot and also lowers logistical costs because you're literally limiting the size of the modules, which can make it easier for them to carry and deliver those boxes or homes. We approached these through a mixed method design, as mentioned before. First, a literature review drawing from sources like McKinsey, Portlinker, and academic sources, but mainly focuses on industry reports. Second, a series of semi-structured interviews with Boxable managers, engineers, business affairs, sales, logistics, and engineering team as well. And by the end of it, we extract themes from the interviews that were cross-referenced with published data for validation. So just an overview on literature insights. The literature strongly supports modular innovation. For example, McKinsey landmark report found modular construction can cut costs by 20% and timelines by up to 40%. Market projections also show a surge from 7 billion in 2022 to over 28 billion by 2034. Just to sum it up, modular is not just a trend, it's a transformational shift, especially in regions suffering labor shortages and housing demands. And one great way to go about this is how foldable modular homes are showing expansion in the market for housing and construction. Specifically, looking at foldable modular designs, there is a very prominent company rising from 2017, if I'm not mistaken, with only two founders, and their kind of, I want to say, flagship produce is Boxable's Casita unit, which offers a full home setup for about $60,000. The baby box model costs only about $20,000 and can be assembled by one person in under 1 hour, which is an amazing kind of advancement in housing solutions, considering the time that you have for compared with uh, conventional stick-built buildings. And foldable designs are expanding applications from primary homes to accessible dwelling units and rapid emergency housing solutions as well. So it can be also used for places with high congested populations, smaller urban designs, and as well as disaster relief solutions. When there's going to be a disaster, you can ship these pretty quickly depending on the situation, and it would be very, very beneficial, and it would address a big problem in the entire housing crisis. And the cost drivers are pretty compelling as well. So the build time is compressed from almost a year to just a month or two. And right now, Boxable can do that one unit in about a month, and they're trying to lower that as well. The next big thing that you save on these in terms of costs is labor requirements, which are slashed because controlled factory environments boost productivity and standardize the process. So you're hitting two birds with one stone. You have a reproducible design, and you have labor requirements that are very productive. Material waste, on the other perspective, is under 5%, which makes sense because in manufacturing practice, it's kind of common to cut costs by limiting material wastage. So in this case, material waste is under 5% compared to what we already know that occurs in traditional stick-built buildings, which is about 20 to 30%. These efficiencies together deliver drastic cost per square foot advantages. And now pay attention that when we're talking about cost effectiveness, at this stage we're mainly focused on what it's going to cost the producers and the manufacturers and the ones that are giving this product to the consumers or buyers. And later on we will discuss more into this. The savings don't stop at construction. Foldable modular homes are designed for extreme energy efficiency, resulting in utility bills as low as $20 per month. They're built with hurricane, flood, and fire-resistant materials. Their expected lifespan is between 50 to 100 years with minimal maintenance costs over time. But I do have to confess that over, at least from what we found in the literature review, as opposed to later on we will discuss this on the interviews, many of the aspects of the cost effectiveness as a whole, not just for the manufacturer, but for the buyers and consumers as well, the latter side is not very much discussed. So there's not too much data on that. But on the side of the producers and the manufacturers, we know that it's very much time efficient and cost effective as of now. However, major bottlenecks persist almost across every stakeholder that the interview occurred. Is that regulations are one of the biggest hurdles. So different states and municipalities have inconsistent zoning, permitting, inspection requirements. These regulatory hurdles introduce time and cost unpredictability despite the low production costs. So for example, if you're living somewhere in the Midwest or the East Coast, where the transportation laws, for example, the maximum height, which can conflict with the envelope size of the transporting equipment and the box itself. There are different standards between each country. So, for example, if I want to ship something from Boxable Company right here in Nevada up to somewhere, let's say Georgia, Atlanta, or like all the way to the east, the costs are only not only they will not be lowered because there's going to be like other costs which will offset the cost savings, and those are because you can't have a Boxable Company in the east as of this moment, and having it would kind of solve this problem with moving parts and regulatory barriers to transportation rules. It would help that a lot. It would save so much time. It would save so much money for the buyers as well. So, streamlined modular building codes and national standards are urgently needed to unlock full scalability. And one way to do that, which was discussed in the interviews, was through having a unified regulatory system, preferably on something like HUD that works in jurisdiction of federal scale, not just state by state, because all these states have different rules. Unifying them is not going to be an easy solution unless it's done by a big organization like CII, MBI, or HUD, which can offer kind of unified standards for across the states. So, based on the data that we had gathered through literature reviews and interviews, we conducted a SWOT, which is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats analysis that gives us a holistic view. So, for example, on the strengths include speed, cost saving, environmental benefits, and durability. So, and we know all these things already. But the weaknesses lie in navigating regulatory fragmentation, because it's going to cause a lot of problems which will lead to offset cost savings. On the other side, we have opportunities abound in expanding ADUs, tiny home communities, and workforce housing. So you're addressing markets that are not very performing well with these units because of the strengths that we discussed before. And there aren't that many threats to it other than regulatory inertia and the public hesitation towards non-traditional homes, which is kind of, it's not really a biggest issue that companies like Boxable or other companies like A Homes or outside U.S. companies face. We also did a PESEL analysis revealing broader environmental factors. Politically, incentives for modular and affordable housing are rising. Economically, a cost crisis fuels urgency for cheaper options. Socially, tiny homes are becoming more accepted because they cost less, obviously, and they take less upkeep, obviously, too. Technologically, foldable innovations and energy efficiencies are advancing rapidly, which means they can get all these analyses that you want to do for energy saving, wastage, on these designs as well. And legally, fragmented permitting remains a systematic obstacle, which means that it needs quite a push to get past. So to summarize the findings of this research, foldable modular housing significantly reduces construction costs and timelines, operational savings from lower energy bills to minimal maintenance, and also enhance long-term affordability. But regulatory barriers must be addressed to fully capitalize on these advantages at scale. To conclude, foldable modular housing technology represents a bold solution to the affordable housing crisis. Its strengths lie not only in rapid construction and cost reductions, but also in sustainability and durability. Strategic efforts to standardize regulations and educate the market could transform modular homes, from a niche novelty to mainstream affordable housing strategy.